had three people pre-recording vehicles. They had someone pulled over and I taken more.
It is now 5 o'clock. We will begin the workshop for the Board of Mayor and Aldermen for June 27, 2013. I will like to remind everybody that we are being televised live. For the meeting on Tuesday, I will have the prayer, and Vice Mayor, you will have the Pledge of Allegiance. Please review over the public hearing and the regular meeting notes or minutes, and be ready for those. A vote on those. Tonight, will we have the spy glass? Will they be here on Tuesday night?
No, this was just for the workshop,
Okay.
and he's not here.
So we will not have a presentation, and we will have our Employee of the Month for July. Moving right along, we'll go into old business. It will be the second reading, ordinance 2013-06, an ordinance to amend Title 20, Chapter 2 of the Laverne Municipal Code regarding user fees for the Parks and Recreation Department. Do I have any more? We did discuss this in great length for the first reading. Do I have any more comments, concerns? Bruce, from you or AC, would y'all like to, any added information?
Thank you for me. I don't know how I feel about it.
Yep. Anyone have any comments, concerns, or any questions? Okay. Again, let's remind, will we have a public hearing on this?
Not on this one, no.
Okay. Moving right along, second reading, ordinance 2013-07. An ordinance to amend the City of Laverne zoning ordinance by changing the official zoning map for tax map 140, Group A, Parcel 16, located at 1500 New View Street, consisting of 0.35 acres from an R3, which is a high-density residential zoning district, to an I1 light industrial zoning district. We will have a public hearing on this matter. This did receive a favorable recommendation from the Planning Committee, and this will be the second reading. Do I have any comments, questions?
If y'all had any, excuse me, the signs went up over there on Newview and
Yes, sir. The
County.
sign's been up for about 3 months now.
Y'all got any response from the
I've
neighbors?
had probably 3 phone calls, and all of them were actually supportive of it, and they were actually all residential neighbors on the property.
Okay.
Again, we will remind everyone there will be a public hearing. The public hearing will begin at 6:30 on Tuesday night. So any of the residents that hopefully are watching this, you can come and speak at 6:30 for or against this rezoning. Any more comments from anyone? Okay. Number 6, motion to approve contract with New World Systems for the CAD RMS system for the police department. All right, Phyllis, you want to bring us up to speed on the?
Yes, we had previously bid out the CAD system with New World Systems, or we bid it out. New World Systems was the lowest bidder and preferred bidder, and so we turned around and had to bid out the financing, and we sent it out to 13 different financial institutions. We got 3 responses. The Government Capital responded with 2.89% interest. Capital Innovations responded with 2.599% interest, and SunTrust responded with 1.96. So they are the lowest bidder. We've got Evan and Karen Neal with Barry Bass and Sims reviewing those documents to make sure that they complied with everything we've asked for, and they haven't stuck anything in there that we're not aware of. So at that, we're, looks like SunTrust will be the awarder of that financing.
Okay. Now this portion is just for the contract with New World.
Right.
Correct. There's actually 2 items on the agenda. This one is for the contract itself, with New World. Item number 10 under new business will be for the financing.
I'm sorry.
It's okay.
No, but they
And
kind of
they kind of go together, so,
but,
you know,
yeah.
and that was the holdup from last month was the financing, so it's fine.
Now,
Number 10, we should have a resolution for Tuesday night. It's not in the package tonight. But if you want to go to that item, you can see the proposal that came from SunTrust that gives the lease rate and the payments and things like that. So, you know, like I said, this is two parts to this item. One is the contract under old business, and then the financing will be a resolution under new business.
And Chief, I'm under the impression you're extremely happy with the New World Systems, the bid that they came in, and the product that they're providing for you.
Yes, ma'am. From everybody I've talked to around us, everybody's excited to death that we're doing this. We're talking about other agencies, particularly emergency services. But it's an awesome package. We'll be, once the contract is signed, then within about 2 weeks, Rich is here. They will be here in town. They'll be building the project management team with our folks and their folks. And we'll begin working then, and then probably somewhere, don't hold me to this exact, but probably within 90 days or maybe an absolute 120 at the most, more than likely, we'll have our CAD portion of it will probably be up and running actually. And it will take more time then to do the business processes and so on for our records management system. And then we've got the mobile field reporting portion too that will be there. But everybody's just awestruck right now with what the city of Laverne is doing with this project, because Franklin's actually looking at new CAD RMS. Don't know where they're going to go, but they've looked at New World. Of course, Germantown's already doing it, and then several other people are beginning to look too because of the capabilities. And it will provide us those tools we need into the future. I don't think we're going to have to do any changing at all. We'll be getting upgrades annually. At least we know for the next 7 years. And then there'll be a change then, an added contract or whatever. But the only thing we may have to revise and improve or enhance would be some of the hardware itself, but the software itself will be upgraded annually.
Wonderful.
Which cities has already got this in place? Which cities has already got this in place?
There are over 450 locations with how many agencies involved? 1,200 agencies involved there. Like we'll be fire and police. We'll both be a part of it. So we're building for that future too. It's already there and in place. In Tennessee, Germantown is in the process of converting over. They have an old SunGuard system, which is what Smyrna has now. And I'll say right now, young man back there by Rich is Brian Rowland. He actually works for the city of Laverne now and for the police department, and he's our new IT specialist for the PD. He's been trying to help learn and help blend a little bit this week, and they're back and forth helping each other, and there's a real good cooperative effort going on with that. So he'll be very instrumental. But Germantown is in the process of moving over. They have an old AS400 based software, hardware operation going, and they're having to convert all of that over. They had to slow down and put it on hold till they got some radio issues so they could talk, so they got those things straight. Now they're beginning to get ready to go back and move through the process of moving on forward with it. Walker and Dade County, Georgia Sheriff's Departments have combined. They share New World, Birmingham, Alabama, Montgomery, Alabama, Covington, Kentucky. Wilson County EMA has it for the CAD portion in the EMS side. They don't have law enforcement side because the law enforcement agencies didn't go into that. But it's
all of our equipment, like you say, one of the radios not compatible. All of our radios and stuff is
all of our equipment is compatible totally. It's compatible with the new software that 911 has done. It's compatible with our new Everbridge, which is the Alert Rutherford, the new software that will eventually, hopefully, take the place of Code Red for alerting citizens in Rutherford County that the ECD purchased to utilize, and several other things that we're already doing are compatible with this. And it will be so much different than what we have now. It's going to be unreal. You'll be able to go on and look and see what crimes have occurred in your area, whatever area you tell it. It'll tell you what kinds of crimes, when they were, et cetera, actually online on the web. As soon as it's reported and it's in that system, then it will refresh and you'll be able to see it. And even see mugshots and charges of those who are arrested.
That'd be great.
Yes.
Stay off of that.
And that'll help us a lot because we do get a lot of requests for information
Yes, we
on
do.
crime rates in various neighborhoods and things like that. So if we can direct them to a website, I just make it so much easier for us.
It will.
That'd be great.
Yeah.
Any other questions?
There's one thing I'd like to get clarified by Rich. There is a statement in the agreement under Exhibit AA. It says pricing assumes contract execution by June 28th, 2013. Obviously, our meeting is not until July 2nd. Is that going to change anything?
Yes, it will. Based on tonight's meeting, it'll be updated for next Tuesday.
Okay, is that going to change any pricing?
No, sir.
Okay. That's the only question I have.
All right, Bruce. Good job.
Yeah, we probably need to bring up the maintenance. You know, previously we had looked at the financing and including the financing in as part of the maintenance as part of the financing. Find the page here. It's under Exhibit C. It shows the breakdown of the annual maintenance cost. The proposal that we received last month that include the prepaid plan of $673,000 for 7 years of annual maintenance. We've been told by our bond counsel that we cannot finance the maintenance portion. It's against state law. I forget the exact terms that they used, but so what we're going to have to do on an annual basis is budget, you know, those dollar amounts that are listed there in our operating funds to pay those annual maintenance costs. So we will not get the discount for prepaying it. As far as I know, that's correct. We'll still have to pay those annual maintenance fees as part of our operating fund, but we're not putting that in with the financing. So
Everybody
just wanted
understand?
to clarify that.
The annual maintenance covers any kind of upgrades we have to have, any changes that are made for any reason. If the FBI says you need to change this for your IBERS reporting to us, TBI has had, what, Brian, 3 this year so far? Changes. That requires code to be written and things to be changed and upgraded and updated. And I'll give you one example. With the software company that I believe it's Franklin currently uses, it's costing them $35,000 every time they have a change made. And multiply that by 3 changes TBI's done, just them, not counting Department of Safety and Homeland Security with the crash data or anything else that we have to push out to other agencies and provide them. Those things are covered in the annual maintenance cost. Plus, we have the benefit if New World does a change for an agency, let's say in New York or in Michigan or somewhere, that as a best practice that's available to us, it's provided to us as a part of that maintenance fee too. If we choose to say, hey, we can use that, whether it's a form change or whatever, they push it to us and we do the upgrade here, and it doesn't cost us additional money above and beyond that maintenance unless we have something specifically we ask for that we change ourselves. Like if down the road we get to a point where we can add in the complete court side of it, and that's one of the things we've talked about, then we would have to pay for that separately, but in addition to. But that's something that hopefully we'll look at down the road in a year or two.
more questions or comments? Very good. Next, we'll move on to our consent agenda items. First on the consent agenda items, approve recommendations for city bids and purchases. Emergency purchase hazmat cleanup on Fergus Road. Ricky, you wanna, who's got this one? Fill us, Ricky.
We had a car accident several months now back on Fergus Road. It's two separate incidents, so I don't want y'all to get these confused. NES had drilled a guy wire through the sewer pipe a couple of weeks prior to this event. This was actually an MVA that jerked a guy wire through a piece of sewer pipe. So this will be passed on to TML as well and probably go to the insurance of that car driver. But it is our responsibility on the front end, because at that point we didn't know if it was an NES issue or if it was the owner of the vehicle. But obviously we had to address it. It was dumping sewer into the creek there. So we went ahead and took care of it through our contractual environmental company. The bill is back to us now, and of course we'll just have to pass it on over to TML and let them take appropriate actions. But we do have to take care of the bill. So.
Okay. And we turned this in to TML? Okay. So it's already gone. They got everything. All right. Any questions? All righty. Thank you, Ricky. B, accept donation of money from Baseball Players Association for the use of city ball fields for a tournament. AC, I know you wanna tell this one.
Well, I mean, it's BPA came in and, you know, we really went the extra distance to get the fields where they needed them. And they, you know, since our municipal code is in the situation that it's in right now, they offered to give us a donation in lieu of all the hard work that we did. And I said, well, I'll run it by y'all, but, you know, hey, money's money, and it goes a long way to going back and, you know, to putting, because we spend a lot of money on chalk and paint and man hours grooming the fields and different things. So I thought it was a great gesture, and they're going to do it 2 more times, because I mean they put on big tournaments and they make a lot of money, so they don't mind, you know, giving a little to us. So I say, yeah, sure.
So again, we're receiving the money, we're not paying the money.
Right, exactly.
Any questions or comments? All right. C, approve grant contract for fiscal year 2013-2014 between the Greater National Regional Council and the City of Laverne for multi-purpose senior center activities. This is the contract that we sign every year for the seniors. And Bruce, nothing's changed on it.
No, it's pretty much the same contract we have every year. I think the dollar amount this year is $26,100 that we receive through this program.
All right. Any questions? All right. No questions. We'll move on to new business. Number 8, motion to appoint or remove board members. We have first the Historical Preservation Advisory Committee. We have 1 term vacant. I don't think at this time we've received any applications for that. Next is the Local Emergency Planning Committee. We'll probably, do we really need this on there yet? Still,
No,
this is for the utilities manager.
Right. We can take this off for Tuesday night. I like to keep it on the agenda so we
Yes, so
have a
don't forget
paper
'em.
trail of it.
Yeah, don't forget them.
But yeah, we'd rather wait until we hire that position before we fill this spot.
Okay. Also, on the Economic Development Advisory Committee, we do have 1 term that expires, and have we need to contact and let this Mr. Pickard
This is Webb Pickard, yeah.
talk with him. I know he's been under the weather, but I do like to offer that courtesy of a phone call.
Okay.
And we also have 1 member is resigning from the Board of Zoning Appeals. He is taking a position in Chicago, Illinois. Wow. As Mr. Nathan Phillips, we did say our goodbyes to him at the last MOSA meeting. He's done a wonderful job, but he is moving, and I wanted to thank everybody for the opportunity to serve on that board, and he really did a really good job, and we all wished him well in his new endeavors. And I think we do have one.
We actually have two applications,
Okay.
one from Laura Davidson and one from Alton Goodwin Sr.
Okay. Any questions on any of those boards? If not, we'll move on. First reading, ordinance 2013-08, an ordinance to amend the Laverne zoning ordinance as it pertains to sign variances, received a favorable recommendation from the Planning Commission on June the 25th. And Kristen, where'd Kristen go?
She's hiding.
There you are.
Short.
If you would like to, y'all have to be patient, I got my bifocals on, but I'm still learning how to.
This amendment it's essentially just an administrative cleanup to make the variance procedure a little bit more flexible. In situations where one lot has more than one business, they're not both able to have a pole or monument sign. And I was approached by a local business who was affected by this situation, and they had asked that we just amend the current, I guess it's section 8.080D1A, which would add two words, pole sign, so that somebody that comes in, if there's already a business on the premises and they have a monument sign, this new business does have the option to ask for a variance to get a pole sign in addition. Otherwise, they wouldn't have the ability to have any other sign for their property except on the wall. And it just would help businesses that are located in one building, because it's the procedure does allow just for one pole sign or one monument at the one lot. So I don't know if anybody has any questions. We did add one declarative statement to the end of the amendment so that it reads, "In no event shall a lot have more than one pole sign." So it will not be allowed, if there's a pole sign there and a new business comes in, they would have to ask for a monument. They could not ask for another pole sign. It just, one lot would have the ability to have one of both. That's it. So. And I can pass, I don't know if you have a copy of the ordinance in your packet. Okay. But I'd be more than happy to entertain any questions if you have any.
Anybody have any questions? No? Thanks, Lisa.
You're welcome.
Number 10, Resolution 2013-13, a resolution to approve lease purchase financing for the CAD RMS system.
And this is where we'll have the resolution for Tuesday night to approve the financing that we discussed earlier.
And that is with SunTrust?
It is with SunTrust. It's 1.96% interest rate.
Anybody have any questions on that?
What'd you say, 1.1?
1.96%. I wish. I wish.
That'd be nice. Okay, any more questions, comments? Number 11, motion to approve bid renewal for the property and casualty insurance from TML. Ms. Vaughn, do you have any? I think there's no major changes. Awesome. We like that.
And next year there'll be some changes.
Yeah, next year.
We don't want to talk about
Right.
it. Big time, I'm sure. Do we have any questions for Vaughn? Any comments? Number 12, motion to approve use agreement with Laverne Youth Football League for the 2013 fall football season. And I know Evan, I know you and AC and Bruce were working on this today.
Yes, ma'am.
Just cleaned it up a little bit, right?
Yeah, this was presented to Ronnie French at the Laverne Youth Football, and I think he took it to his board. They've already looked at it. He had actually signed a version of it, and then we went back and actually found that we needed to clean up some of the language and things like that. So there are a few minor changes, but nothing substantial as far as content. We put in there the beginning and end dates of the season, made some other changes that just obviously did not fit for football.
There were just dates that would affect their practices is all.
Correct.
You know.
So he has been sent this copy, and I think he'll be coming by to hopefully to sign that in the next
Yeah.
day or two.
I called him and spoke with him, and he didn't seem to have an issue, and it should, just be a matter of him getting by and doing it.
And this is our standard contract with obviously a few minor modifications just because it's football compared to baseball. So.
Do we have any questions or comments? All right. Next will be discussion administrative staffing for Parks and Recreation Departments.
Well, this is something that Jeff originally got rolling, I think. The reason we're looking at this is we're in a similar situation to Garland and Public Works because we have so much stuff going on. I mean, we're, all the ball leagues that we have to handle. We're also a maintenance department. So there's a ton of things that need to be kept track of, and then pile all the events that we do on top of that too, the preparation. It's easier to have somebody full-time because of the efficiency and the consistency of it. When you have two people, you may ask this one thing and she says, well, wait a minute, I gotta call her. If you got one person doing the whole thing, then it's way more efficient. They keep track of things better. And plus, with us trying to lean in the direction of a maintenance department, maybe, in the future that we talked about, it's gonna be a whole lot easier to have one person keeping track of all that, as I'm sure Garland can attest with Miss Kitty. I mean, it's a lot easier if, she knows where everything is, and, it's just a lot more efficient that way.
And I know at one time we had discussed that.
Yes, we had talked about it.
Now, as far as the next year's budget,
It
y'all
was,
would have to,
it was not placed in the budget for the next fiscal year. It was an oversight at some point, I'm not sure where, but I believe we'd have to do a budget amendment because insurance was obviously not budgeted. The trade-off between 2 part-time and 1 full-time as far as pay would be essentially the same, but we don't have benefits included in that, so we would need to do a budget amendment to include that.
now I know we've alleviated a couple of positions that we did budget for, and we reworked some of those already. Well, we did you'll remember, in the budget, we had one for the economic development with pay.
We changed
Did
that.
you change that? That's
We
what I'm
changed that
asking.
because of retail strategies.
Well, but we took the 40 from the chamber also, but we still had money allotted for economic development.
We still have to do a budget amendment.
But I'm just saying, I know we've got,
We're fine.
yeah, I just want, make sure. So, I guess in essence, Bruce, if you want to get with AC and y'all discuss this and Phyllis and come back with, I'm happy to put something like that on the agenda.
Okay.
If it'll be for a vote, and of course everyone can certainly think about that between now and Tuesday night. If y'all come back with us some numbers, and go
We can
on,
do that.
I say go on and put it on the agenda, go on and look it up, and we'll take it to a vote.
Okay.
Did anybody have any questions they wanted to ask, or? Okay. Number 14, I don't think we have anything on it. It's discussion, sewer services for the proposed Oliver Constable development on Blair Road.
Mayor, if you'll remember last month, we had a presentation by Mr. Constable talking about this development on Blair Road. He is wanting the city to enter into an agreement with Smyrna where they take the sewage for that roughly 100 home development. I met with Mark O'Neill and Paul Wilson, I think is his name, from Smyrna. He is their utility director. And we discussed the possibility of doing a contract. It appears that Smyrna has no problem doing that. The proposed rate is in the $2.25 per thousand gallon range. What we're paying Metro currently is it's $1.80 something.
Yeah.
I can't remember the exact amount, but so obviously, there are some issues there. Because it is a higher cost to send it to Smyrna as compared to Metro. In order to do this, obviously, the agreement itself would have to be drawn up between Laverne and Smyrna. We would also probably need to pass an ordinance creating a new sewer rate for this development in order to pass along those additional costs to those homes itself. Talked with Kyle, talked with Neil Hall, who is our sewer consultant with CTI, and he sent back some proposed costs or some possible costs for three different options. One is for the city to have this development discharge their sewer through a 4-inch force main back to our city lines. And the total cost of that is right around $223,000. And that would only be to serve that one development. It would not serve the remaining area that is in that drainage basin. The second option that was looked at is to provide gravity sewer service for that entire drainage basin and discharge to Smyrna through a gravity sewer line. And of course, these are just very preliminary numbers. We don't have exact connection points as far as where everything would run. But we're looking at a probable cost in the neighborhood of $400,000 to run that. And then the third option that was looked at was to run let's see, this looks like a gravity sewer. Neil, you may need to speak on this one. I'm not exactly sure. This option is the same as option 2, except a pump station and 8-inch force main to take it to the Laverne sewer. And that one's $1.4 million. Now, we have a couple of options to do that. Obviously, if the developer is only going to be providing the sewer for his development, he would have to pay that $223,000. If we were to provide sewer for the entire basin, we could set up what's called a special assessment zone, where we spread out that cost of the project over the number of acres that can be developed in that area, and then we charge basically a per acre fee for whatever is developed in that area. So he would have to pay based on the number of acres that he's going to develop at a flat rate per acre. Obviously, we've not calculated any of those fees yet because this is all very preliminary numbers. But as you can see, obviously the cost of these projects are quite extensive. Of course, the developer would like for us to allow him to connect directly to the Smyrna sewer, and we have the other issues there as far as developing a new rate and the agreement itself. So that's where we are right
I'm
now.
personally not in favor of that because you're dealing with our water and sewer right now is already a challenge. Especially, the girls, Allison is doing a fabulous job trying to get all that caught up. Of course, we're going into our new meters, all of this, and then having to calculate that, and I think years down the road, I just think it would end up being a mess in the long run. Now, I don't have a problem with the assessment part, where you go in, depending on what that would cost and running it back, because that's what we made the other developments out in there do. They had to go in and pay for their development, and that's part of developing. That's my 2 cents. But I see what the girls go through, and I think having 2 different, just for one section, I know you think, well, it's just one section, that's no big deal. I think in the long run, I think it'll turn into a really big deal.
It would.
That's just my opinion. And certainly we love new development. We welcome new development. But I think we've got to be very sensible about our development and being staying consistent with what we're doing. And Michael, I mean, you're big in the sewer end, and that's your expertise. Do you not feel that it would be better on us?
I feel that it would, probably in the long run, going forward. However, there is an opportunity if we can get on the page with Smyrna to eliminate Ivy Point lift station, because it takes on quite a bit of sewage, and there's a manhole just right outside the city lines. We could completely eliminate that station.
And I did talk about that with Mark O'Neill. Kyle Brown and I talked about that with Mark, and you know, there are a couple of other areas that could be beneficial for us to run sewer to Smyrna, you know, but
How are we going to explain to them that huge increase when everybody's already upset?
right.
And our sewer rates are based on water consumption, you know, but yet theirs is going to be at a much higher level, especially if we change over, you
Right.
know.
Right.
That special assessment, that's collected to the time they build their permits, is it not?
Exactly.
Yeah.
Yes.
I mean, as far as paying that special assessment, I know Rita's on those, like out in Brookside and Woods Martin Bend, where they're pulling permits on all that, Pinnacle Point. You know, and as you remember too, that term had expired on that special assessment in that area, so.
We've had I think a total of 4 special assessment zones over the years. 1 or 2 of those have already expired. I'm not sure the dates on the other 1 or 2 that we still have, but you know, there is a time period where you recoup, you know, money from people developing in that area. So there is a lifetime to it.
Like I said, my only concern is now, I mean, us having to go up, and they're already saying, you know, they don't like our prices for Metro, so they're surely not going to like our prices to Smyrna.
Right.
If you said it was what, in the 2.25 range?
It's $2.25 is what they told me.
2.25.
So you're looking 30-40 cents higher than.
And I know, you know, it doesn't sound like a lot in the big realm of things, but it is when they're already, you know, paying that to go to Metro.
I think it was brought up last month. What does this do? Let's say we even consider this. Are we opening ourselves up? Because previous development, we have not done these things. So is that something that we certainly have the right, but would we not be maybe potentially opening ourselves up to special, again, doing something different than what we've made up as developers?
So, you know, I mean, it sort of goes without saying, you can never say never. I mean, somebody can get upset with us for just about anything, but there's nothing about what I've heard discussed that just jumps out at me as being a real problem, but obviously you can't ever rule that out.
I mean, it's up to this board if y'all would like to take it to a, I mean, it's up to y'all if you want to take it to a vote on Tuesday night. If you'd like to get more information on, maybe bring up 2 and to investigate.
I don't think we need to vote on it Tuesday.
I mean, that's why I'm asking this board, what are your wishes?
Can we talk to the developer, I believe, or something?
Yeah.
And
Would you like to come to the podium, please?
Yeah. Evening. Yeah, I met with the guys over at Smyrna after your meeting with them, and what they kind of got over to me is the extra 40 cents for 1,000 gallons gets passed on straight to the homeowners who are more than aware of it when they buy the properties. It's nothing to do with anyone else living in Laverne. You know, it's a separate rate to what anyone else is going to be paying. You know, 40 cents per 1,000 gallons to me, as opposed to $1.2 million for sewage, is, you know, I'd love to have tied into Laverne sewage. I really would. You know, you guys do pay less than Smyrna, but I can't because it's just too far away. You know, that sort of money you're talking about just kills the development, and it's a shame because, you know, it's a beautiful piece of land, make a beautiful subdivision.
How quickly were you looking to move, obviously?
Well, I had a chat with Kristen just before the meeting. You know, based on this meeting, you know, if you guys said, yeah, you know, we'd quite like to enter in we wouldn't be opposed to entering into an agreement with Smyrna. I was going to go down and apply for rezoning tomorrow. and pay, start paying fees and start getting involved in the planning stage. As soon as I can, I'd like to get in there, start sticking infrastructure in, and I'd like to be building homes kind of this time next year.
Because it's going from an I-1 or is it an I-2?
It's heavy industrial.
It's I2, I think.
I-2.
Yeah, and we'd like to get it rezoned to R2. We could probably try for R3, but I wouldn't want to build R3 there because I don't like those sort of homes. I don't think they would sell particularly well. And the homes would be building at $75,000 more than what's usually sold in the Vergne, which I think would all help the town.
Obviously, we do not have an agreement written up yet between Laverne and Smyrna. We could ask them to go ahead and draft that and present it to us. And that way you'd have something, in your hand that shows the rate and everything. But we don't really have any firm commitment from him yet stating he's actually going to develop there yet. And so to me that's an issue. Good faith on both sides would be appreciated.
As I said, I'd like to go and put in for rezoning tomorrow, but if you guys say, as I've heard, we're not particularly in favour of this, with no disrespect, I'm not going to waste my money.
Right.
We'll vote on it till Tuesday.
We could put a motion on the agenda, to basically move forward with an agreement. But it needs to be one way or the other. We either proceed with an agreement with Smyrna, or if you want to proceed with another one of these options, that way we can move forward in that direction. Because obviously if we go with one of these other options, there's going to be some engineering involved and things like that to come up with the plans and move forward in that direction. So it's whatever this board wants to do.
Now, obviously, Mr. Constable needs to understand that even if you vote to go forward with proceeding with trying to draft an agreement, it's not a done deal until the agreement's reviewed and approved by y'all. So you could vote to proceed, but you're not given permission to do anything until names are signed on the dotted line.
Which would be
It would be probably
the August meeting.
It'd be maybe if we can get it done by that time.
And we'd have to bring it back to this board.
And we also have to look at the sewer rates that we'd have to charge. So I mean, it could be a 2 or 3 month period to get all of this in order.
Yeah, so I mean, it's.
Because we're looking at an ordinance to set a new sewage rate and then the agreement itself. So overall, we're looking at probably a good 3 month process to get that done, at least.
I mean, if water says they can do it, because it's not like you're doing it to people that are already there. They're going to know it when they buy it. I don't really have a problem with it.
If they're told by the realtor.
Yeah.
If they're told by the realtor.
Things have happened like that before and it wasn't passed on. And
Right.
we catch it at City Hall.
Yeah.
And we didn't have nothing to do with it, yeah. So, I mean.
There's no guarantee they're going to be told.
Well, but what I'm saying, you're not just putting it on people that are already there like Ivy Point. I mean, if you're going to do theirs, you definitely have to send letters to them, let them know, and get some.
But we wouldn't want to just jump on that on Ivy Point.
No, but that's what I'm saying. It's not the same as just moving them.
Please don't do that to me. But you're just saying you would have an option should something
Yes, ma'am. I
happen.
just think eliminate that pump station would save X amount of dollars too, just a thought. And that was just more or less getting in good graces with Smyrna. If we did go that route, maybe they would open the door to, hey, we'll accept the sewage that, goes to Ivy Point as well. But there, I don't know how you would be able to go back and change the rate on homeowners for that. So, yeah, that's a...
So we'd be losing, yeah.
Right. You'd be paying extra for Smyrna to treat the sewage, to take the sewage, but yet you'd be saving money on eliminating the pump station.
Yeah.
So...
Okay, here's my question. He said in the 2 to 225 range.
It'd
So
be,
we're
yes,
not
it'd be
to
around
say that
225, yeah.
We got to have a confirmed number. So if you want, we can on Tuesday night, make a motion to proceed into investigating further with Smyrna, coming up with a contract, because they're gonna have to go through all of that with their attorney. And then at that point, once they come back with us, we can't make a decision right now because we don't have a contract in front of us, either way. But we can make a motion to move
Request
further,
Smyrna to draft an
to
agreement.
draft an
We can do something
agreement.
like
Then that will have to come back with us whenever they get all the legal stuff worked out and go for the prices from there.
I mean, could we negotiate? Maybe Smyrna will come down some.
There could be some negotiation there. I don't know how much.
I mean, because are there other places in town that are going to need to go to Smyrna at some point
It's possible.
that would be cheaper?
You know, some areas on Old Nashville Highway that
See, I
could
mean,
be
it-
better served by Smyrna sewer just because of the way it drains.
I don't want to cut my nose off, spite my face when later on.
What's kind of baffling me is, well, a year ago, we asked Smyrna if we could, connect.
Thank you, and they said
And-
that they were capacity.
And basically said the state would not allow them,
Yeah.
maybe in 3 to 5 years, but at this point, no. So
Yeah.
now all of a sudden,
I think a lot of it has to do with the volume that we're talking about. You know, this isn't a whole lot of volume for 100 homes. You know, if we start talking about thousands of gallons, they may have some issues there. Plus, I believe they're going into to planning for an expansion of their own sewer treatment plant. So, I mean,
They be paying
you
extra
know,
for
their rates may go up because of that.
Those
you know.
rates gonna go, woo. But it's not hurting anybody for us to get
continue.
the information, have real numbers. So when we make a decision, we've got those real numbers in front of us to make a good and just decision.
Thank you.
Is that good?
That makes sense.
Okay. All right. All right. Number 15, discussion street name changes for Parthenon Boulevard / Waldron Road. Okay, and I read the email, and I forgot which way you were going.
It's option 1, which would rename Waldron Road all the way to Murfreesboro Road. And then the portion of Old Waldron Road, essentially, from International to Old Nashville would be called Old Waldron Road. And then the portion between International and Cherokee would be named Cherokee.
Okay.
I think that's all of it.
Parthenon to Walton, that's all the way. Okay? And then over the intersection, that makes sense.
It gives definitive starting and ending points rather than quitting in a curve or something like that. And it just makes sense. It's very simplistic, and it'll make it a whole lot easier for emergency services folks.
And that's got to be our main focus. Of course, I know we wanted to do some special changes and have special, but our ultimate goal, in my opinion, is safety of our citizens. And y'all have got to have specific directions and knowing, and that's got to be, I think, is listening to you guys. Y'all are the ones that's got to get that quick response to make sure our citizens are safe and taken care of. And that's why we said we needed to listen to what y'all had to say. That's my opinion. And like I said, I know a lot of us would like to make some nice changes for, you know, some things that's happened here for people. But
This is really the easiest.
we've got to think simplistic here and realistically, and obviously listen to the guys and gals that are out there every day. So
Evan's not had a chance to look into what it takes to make those changes. He'll know before Tuesday night, so
Okay.
hopefully we can have that ready for Tuesday night. I'm guessing it's some sort of ordinance or resolution. And of course, it'll have to be forwarded to the proper people to make those changes. So we'll have that ready hopefully for Tuesday night.
is that good with everybody? Any questions or comments?
It will come with just a little bit of change with the postal service, but Alderman Broker, I don't think it would be that much.
I think I
What
counted
little bit-
like 7 or 8 that were really would make any kind of, I think only 2 or 3 actually changed the name.
Yeah.
And as far as what Waldron to Cherokee or whatever.
Right. So it shouldn't be too big of a hassle. The biggest change is going to be with the GIS mapping, and that's going to be pretty simple because you have a definitive place you're starting and going,
Awesome.
rather than all that mixture that we had involved.
Exactly. I agree. Any more questions or comments? Thank you guys very much. Okay, we're down to mayor and alderman comments. We'll start with you, Alderman Brober.
The only thing I have is I've been contacted about 4 or 5 times. People don't know that we're having our fireworks, so I'm going to let everyone know we are having our fireworks show. Starts 6 o'clock, I believe, a week from tonight, Thursday.
We're in the process of putting posters up now.
Very good, but I wanted to say it live so everyone knew that yes, we are going to have fireworks again, and every year we've gotten better, and just come on out and have a good time.
Smyrna's is the third, by the way, so all the Smyrna folks
Can come
Sure,
join us
sure.
on the
There you go.
4th. That's right.
And we're going to be grilling hamburgers and hot dogs and everything right there. And we'll have live music and it's going to be a big
Jumpies for the kids.
Oh yeah, jumpies for the kids, face tattoos.
Missy Garnett again, her band.
Yep, Missy's coming back, but she's got a new band. I think a couple new pieces. She said they're better than ever. So
Good deal.
I look forward to that.
So it does start at 6
It
o'clock.
does start at 6 o'clock, correct. We're going to open the gate about 5, start cooking then, and let people
Smell
meander
going.
in. That's right, that's right.
Alderman Walters?
Don't have really nothing, just remember people about the pets and the animals. Make sure they got plenty of shade and water. It's hot out there. I have nothing.
Vice Mayor?
Got nothing.
Got nothing? Alderman Green?
We had a good conference workshops, so
We did. Very
everything
good.
went good.
And Laverne is doing quite well according to some of the workshops that we went to, especially in the economic end. We're doing everything right, trying to get businesses here, so it was good to hear that we're on the right track, and hopefully we'll be seeing some new developments going on here. And I guess with that, I don't think we have anything this weekend.
Well, in the park we do.
We do in the park, we
The
have
BPA tournament.
tournaments in the park. But other than that, I guess, Chief, do you have something?
One quick thing.
All right.
Sobriety checkpoints, alcohol saturation control, heat, so people behave.
If you don't, you'll get them.
Heck. Why do we have to behave?
Well, as long as you don't get out and get drunk, get out behind the wheel. I had to go to church and tell everybody I was teasing you.
I'll try to stay sober.
With that being said, we'll hope Alderman Green will behave this weekend. I do want to thank all of you for being here, and I call this workshop adjourned.